Have you ever felt like your marketing plan is solely stuck online and it feels a little bit exhausting sometimes with the pressure of social media marketing, with the way socials are constantly changing? And yeah, social media, having online platforms where you can market, that's a pretty nice perk, right? However, maintaining that online presence, especially if that's like your sole focus or primary focus for your marketing, that can make it feel like you're stuck in this like never ending encore in a quiet and dimly lit theater. You're not sure if there's anybody there listening. Did I hear some clapping way in the back? What's going on? So I do believe firmly that social media can be a very useful tool in our marketing plans. However, it shouldn't be the only tool. And so today, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to set social media aside for a little bit and we're going to switch into some what we're going to call old school marketing methods so that we can look at these without them feeling like old and outdated and making us feel out of touch. We're going to be looking at some different ways that we can use traditional marketing methods in our music studios so that we can elevate our studio's visibility and credibility without depending solely on social media. So I hope that you're excited about this topic. This is something I'm really passionate about, and it might be something that you're like a little surprised to hear me talk about and to choose as a topic, because many people think of me as like, oh, Sarah's like the social media marketing person. Well, that's not really true. Part of that is true, but most of the times when I am working one-on-one with client and we are putting together marketing plans, social media is only a small part of that plan. So before we jump into everything, we're going to play a little bit of intro music and we're going to make sure that all of the things are going live. So give me just one moment and I will be back. Just in the nick of time. All right. So, welcome to today's broadcast. The topic of the day is ways to market without social media. And if you are new here, I just want to say hello and welcome. My name is Sara Campbell, and I am a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like you. And we go live here on Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern, where we talk about those topics. And today we're going to be diving into marketing, but not in the way you might have expected me to. We're going to set aside the social media stuff and we are going to revisit marketing channels that we can use that are considered a little bit old school. So I hope that you will find a lot of value out of today's conversation. If you are joining me live, please be sure to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. I see Pete is here. Hello, Pete. Nice to see you. And I would love to pose a question for the beginning of this broadcast. I would love to know, what are your top 3 marketing channels that you use in your music studio? Now, maybe if one of those is social media, that's fine. But I'd love you to list, what are your top 3 channels that you use? Where are you doing the most marketing? Where are people finding you? And where are people coming in with inquiries? Now, we're going to be looking at 5 traditional marketing channels that we can use, and we're probably going to put a little like modern twist on them. So yes, social media will play a small role in some of the things that we're doing, but I really hope that this conversation sparks some ideas for you, because, and I mentioned this earlier today, sometimes people look at me as like she's the social media person. And if I were to work with Sara, then what she's going to do is mostly social media marketing. That is 100% false. The first thing that happens when I sit down with a client is that we start to examine, what does the whole marketing picture look like? And we dig into many different ways that we can market. Some of that will be social media. Some of that will be online searches. But a lot of it is going to be what people think of as old school marketing methods, because guess what? They work. So let's take a look at those methods today. Again, the question that we're posing at the top is, what are your top 3 marketing channels? Where do you do most of your marketing? Where do you get most of your inquiries? So go ahead and share those things down below, because that's going to really tie in nicely with our discussion today. So quick housekeeping. If you hear something that's valuable in today's conversation, you can jump into the comments and let us know what your takeaways are. What are the things that, really made that aha moment go off in your brain? What is something that you would like to implement? Because we love to have those conversations. And if you have anything that you'd like to contribute to today, whether you are watching live or on the replay, know that I always love to come back and have a conversation with you. So please do hop on in and let us know your thoughts. If you are watching on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. And I do have some things set up for you today with the show notes as usual. So if you are on Facebook or if you are on Instagram, if you want to drop the word marketing down below, then you will be able to get a hold of the show notes from today, a brief list of what we're going to be covering. And if you are watching on YouTube, please look in the live chat or in the description below. There will be a link that you can click in order to get those show notes. Okay, so I see we've got a few people tuning in. Nicole, I owe you an email. It's on my list. And I see that Karen is starting to contribute some of she's answering the question from today, what are your top 3 marketing channels? Before we dive into the 5, old school methods with a little twist, I do want to just say real quickly, thank you to everyone who was helping me troubleshoot the issue that we were having with the Savvy Sara bot. She has not been delivering text reminders. We did figure out what was going on. Unfortunately, it's going to take about 3 weeks, 2 at this point, to get the issue fully resolved. But so hopefully mid-June, you will see those text messages from us again. And in the meantime, when you are anticipating the Wednesday broadcast, just know that we put out email reminders about this, and that's where you can find all of the links, or you can always just hop over to your favorite Savvy Music Studio channel and look for the live video. And if you're not getting the emails and you'd like to get them, let me know. Put the word email down below and I'll reach out to you personally so that you can sign up for our weekly newsletters and broadcast reminders. Okay, all of that out of the way. Let's unpack the issue for today. So the issue is that oftentimes when people are considering, like, how am I going to market my studio? Because social media seems so convenient, that's the first solution that we run to. Now, social media can be a nice part of a comprehensive marketing plan, but if it is the only thing that you're doing, you're really missing out. So we're going to look at 5 different things that we can do in order to increase our marketing efforts. And of course, you don't have to do all 5 things. Pick the things that make the most sense for your business model and for your network and the connections that you already have. Yes, Pete, this is true. There was no messenger reminder today. We may be retiring those since we're actually only sending them out to 1 or 2 people a week. We're looking into that to see if we can fix that and make it more streamlined. All right, so let's take a look at some of the issues that some of the marketing avenues that people are sharing here. Karen is saying Google, word of mouth, and referrals. Referrals from other teachers, local piano stores, and random conversations. Gotta love the random conversations, right? I think that's such a powerful way. Hey, talk about what you do. Talk about what you do. If somebody asks you, let them know. Nicole says Google website, also probably also from Google and word of mouth. Perfect. All right. So let's get into the 5 things today. So the first channel that we're going to look at would be this: partnerships with local businesses and schools. So let's unpack what I mean by this. So this, I think, is one of the most powerful ways to really establish your studio as a go-to place in the local community. Now, I realize that a lot of people are going to think, okay, well, this is only applicable to people who have like in-person lessons and work for a local community. Well, that's not necessarily true. We can, partner up with online businesses and things like that as well. So we'll frame it in both ways. So the idea is to collaborate with local businesses, things like community centers, your coffee shop, other like art schools, yoga studios, dance studios, and to also collaborate with schools. Now, I realize that this can feel a little vulnerable and a little frustrating sometimes if you are reaching out to local businesses and you're not getting a response. So here is my word of encouragement to you. Follow up like a champ, a fearless champ who is not afraid of not getting a response. What's the worst thing that can happen? They just won't respond to you. Very rarely have I ever heard, actually, I've never heard of anyone who has gotten a negative interaction with another business when they were trying to reach out to collaborate or to support them. So, ideas that might help you in this is to think about, where can I conduct workshops, maybe some master classes? What about little mini concerts? Right? This is a great way to increase your visibility and establish your reputation in the local area. So let's look at what's a very specific example of this. So I mentioned the coffee shop idea before. Especially in the summertime here in Western PA, people are always looking to listen to music. And we have several businesses around the area that would be perfect to run a little open mic night for your students. I'm not saying open mic night, let everybody come up there, although that could be a cool idea if you're a really good pianist and you want to offer up some neat opportunities for people in the community. But it's a great way to increase that visibility. So what might that look like? It could be that you organize a small open mic night for a select number of students in your studio. Certainly you wouldn't want to bring 30 people. I'm talking about 3 to 5 people that might be able to, put together an hour-long program or something like that where they can entertain the community. That is a great way to increase visibility. And let's circle back now to the idea of partnering with schools. I know that is something that can be really frustrating at first in getting those, connections built. But having those connections is one of the most powerful things. So making sure that we are able to create open channels of communication with choir directors, with band directors, etc., so that they know that we offer services in the local area and that they can send their students to us. I'll offer one example that just worked like a charm this last year. I had reached out to one of the local schools. They're just 7 minutes down the road. And I knew that there was a new director this year. So this was not somebody that I had a relationship with. I have not met her yet in person. And the prior directors, I all knew them personally because they were either students of mine or they had gone to the same college as me. So I reached out to this person to open the door, a little conversation about, hey, I have a 7th grader in your school. We're looking for performance opportunities for her. And she voiced that she was interested in becoming an accompanist. If you've never seen that meme, it's not going to make sense why I just said that, but it is a funny meme. Anyway, okay, so that was the beginning of a marvelous conversation, and now this person is aware that I train piano students and that they are, ready to perform and to help her with her choir. And so I am anticipating in the future that this will continue to be a great relationship, and I'm excited that we were able to make that connection. So I love what I'm seeing here in the comments. So I'd love to know from you, what local businesses and schools have you connected with? I see Linda says we performed at a local bookstore last summer. I love that idea. That's so beautiful. Let's see. Karen says, like, one of my best clients saw a note I had put on the bulletin board at a local workout facility. I taught her twins from age 5 to college. Lifelong friends and lots of referrals along the way. Beautiful, right? Okay, so let's move on to the second marketing channel that I think everybody's going to be excited about. So let's talk about referral programs. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a referral program like that is like super built out or anything, but we know that referrals, word of mouth, right? Whether it's coming from a current student, maybe an alumni student, or just somebody who knows what you do, referrals are one of the strongest ways to gain new clients. Now, if you want to encourage those referrals, I've actually done an entire broadcast around how to encourage referrals. And you can find that, I believe it's in our marketing playlist on YouTube if you want to get a hold of that. So if you want to get strategic around encouraging referrals in your studio, one of the things that you can do is to implement some type of a referral program that offers some type of incentive for current clients to make referrals and bring in new students to your studio. So it could be a discount. I tend not to do those things. It could just be like a nice little gift, right? So whenever somebody makes a referral to the studio, you give them some cool swag or a beautiful thank you note, or, you know, sometimes those incentives, like a $25 gift card to Starbucks that's right around the corner, can be a really nice way to say thank you to those parents and students who are shouting you out to other people. So, you know, this is a very potent tool to bring new people into your sphere. And, you know, if we get strategic about it, we can actually encourage that to happen. So oftentimes we think of referrals as something that just you know, I referred to them before as magical unicorns, right? That they just waltz into the door and that we can't like conjure them. That's not true. So, you know, part of your referral program might be not so much like organizing it so that, you know, you have incentives, but getting intentional around asking for referrals. Right? Perfect time to ask for referrals is when something good happens with a student, right? Making the brave ask at that point to say like, hey, I really enjoy working with Tim and I'm so proud of all the work that he's done this year. And I'm just going to throw this out there. If you know of any students or of any of Tim's friends who are also looking for lessons and would like to join the studio, please do let them know about us. I love this. So Nicole brings up a point here. Let's bring this up. Nicole says, I'm going to try giving a gift card this summer for referrals. Beautiful. It's just a little reminder, right? Because it's not that people don't want to refer you. It's just that we're all busy and we don't always think about those things, right? You're thinking about it because it's your business and it's top of mind. But that busy parent who is, you know, hustling around and taking like 3 kids to all of those summer activities, that's not going to be top of mind to them. All right, let's bring up our third item. Let me find it. Here we go. This is really cool. So local media outreach. Whoop, we'll shorten that up a little bit. So, oh yay, I see that comment from Elizabeth. Many years of supporting the library and the library back to area musicians. Beautiful. Okay, so local media outreach. Okay, so this is going to feel a little old school, but let's talk about it, right? So newspapers, magazines, radio stations, local TV stations. People still use these things to get information. So I will share some specific examples of this, but I want to mention before I do that, you know, with things like newspapers or magazines, you know, this is where we can start to make things really easy for people to find us. So if you want to, you know, include things like, here's my website, great, but you could also put a QR code in there, something that people can scan with their phone, so that they can very easily get to where they need to go to find out more about you. So let me give you a specific example about, what are some different ways that we can reach out to local media, and get features. So there, I think in most areas there are like little local magazines. They're either funded by the newspaper or they're independently funded. We have a magazine that's called Views and Voices, and it comes out once a month. And it is delivered with the newspaper. It's also often put out into lobbies of different businesses, as like a free pickup for somebody. And years ago, I had a student of mine get featured in one of these magazines. I happened to have a connection with somebody who was part of the editorial staff. And I asked her, I said, this is at the very beginning too, I should say, like at Sara's music studio, I did not have a very large advertising budget. So the idea of taking out an ad really wasn't appealing to me, because all I could afford was going to be like this little business card size ad that probably was going to be overlooked. So I thought about like, hey, let's get a little creative with this. So I reached out to my friend and I asked her, I said, do you ever do articles about, like new local businesses? And she said, well, typically we don't do like a feature article about the business, but we'll feature somebody who uses that business. And so what we ended up doing is one of my students who happened to have a lead in one of the community musicals at the time, they decided to do an article about her. And she was talking about her experience as, I think she was 20 or so at the time, experience as somebody who, loves community theater. And she, in that article, mentioned her work with me. And we actually had a picture of us working together. And then they listed information about my studio. And I continued to get people contacting me about that article for years, because grandma and grandpa were reading that magazine and they had a grandchild who wanted to take piano lessons or wanted to take voice lessons. So there, it might feel old school, but this stuff works. So think about, what are some of the local outreaches that you could get a hold of? Right? Maybe you're doing something special. Maybe you're doing some type of a fundraiser inside of your studio. Maybe you're doing something else that's newsworthy. Think about, what are the things that we are doing that are contributing to our local community, and how can we shout that out on some type of a platform? All right. So let's move on. We have 2 more to go, and then we'll do our rapid recap. If you are enjoying the content from today, let's take a little pause here. If you're enjoying this content, please let me know by maybe giving me some hearts, some thumbs up. Go ahead and like the video. If you have somebody who could benefit from listening to this conversation, whether they're a music teacher or just a small business owner, let them know about this. Give it a share and send it their way. That is like one of the most beautiful ways that you can contribute here at Savvy Music Studio. And notice that I literally just asked y'all for referrals. Okay, moving into the next step here. Item number 4 is... Oh, I love this. Thank you, Linda. Got some hearts in the comments there. Pete's got a comment. I'd like to bring this up. Okay, so Pete says, my girls started a new school, a Lutheran and church school. I visited the principal and gave him a bunch of business cards. I was hesitant at first, but he was very welcoming, right? When we do the brave thing, good stuff happens. Okay, I love that. All right, let's look at item number 4. Ooh, this is awkward looking. Let's fix it. Okay, so item number 4 is to leverage your alumni network. So let's talk about, what do I mean? This can be existing or maybe former students. Now, definitely alumni would be the former students, but leverage your existing and alumni network. So, doing this and sharing the success stories of students is a very, very powerful form of marketing. So what does that look like? It could be, having a section of your website that is dedicated to testimonials and success stories. It could also mean reaching out to students and encouraging them to share their experiences and achievements that have happened since they have started working with you. And that, I know that can feel like a little nerve-wracking, but remember, these students love working with you, and if you make the ask, they're likely going to say yes. So let's give a specific example of this. I could reach out to some of the students that I've had this year who are graduating, and ask them to write something small about their experience of working with me for the past X number of years, or even ask them if we could record a short video testimonial to highlight what they've experienced. So leveraging that network by making the ask for testimonials, and either asking them to, yes, we're going to put the social media twist here, right? Asking them to post it on their own socials, or asking for that content so that you can post it somewhere. That's a really powerful way to, you're using social media, but you're actually using testimonials in like a beautiful way because you're asking for them. Now, these testimonials can also be left on things like your Google My Business listing. No, it's not called that anymore. It's called business pages, Google Business Pages. That can be a really great way for when people find you, that they've got that social proof immediately. Right? So leverage that alumni network. Another thing that you can do circles back to item number 2, where we were talking about referral programs. When somebody leaves your studio, that doesn't have to be the end of the conversation. When somebody's graduating, that could be a beautiful time to reach out to the parents and to thank them. Maybe send a beautiful thank you note for all the support that they've given over the years, and include a couple of business cards to say, if you ever know of any other of any friends or family who are looking to join the studio, please remember to pass on the word. Thank you so much for being a part of our studio. We will miss you. Right? Lovely. Okay, finally, we have number 5, and then we'll do our recap. Number 5 is this. And this circles back to what Karen said earlier in the broadcast: flyers and posters in strategic locations. That feels old school, doesn't it? When's the last time that you made a flyer or poster? When I was initially opening the studio, this was something that was super useful for me. I would create those little flyers that had like little cuts along the end, that had my website and my phone number on them. And I would place them anywhere that I could. So it could be like local libraries. Our local Dairy Queen used to have a community bulletin board. And if you're not sure where those bulletin boards are, like, go ahead and ask people on Facebook. Like, again, bringing back the social media stuff, but like, make a post on your personal profile and ask, like, hey, I'm trying to spread the word about my business, and I would love to know from those of you who are here, do you know of any local community bulletin boards that I could post on? Get a list of those together, right? And put your flyers and posters in strategic locations. I even, like, this is going to sound bizarre, but there's a local brewery, Crooked Tongue. Great beer, great food. Love that place. They had a bulletin board where you could leave your business cards. Did I get a referral from them? Totally. I got somebody who's like, hey, I saw your business card at the brewery, and I wanted to reach out and ask about lessons. So find those places where you can put physical things, and remember, like, when you're designing them, make them easy to access. So maybe instead of like the tear off kind of thing, you could have a QR code that show and like a little demonstration of a phone, like scanning it, right? So that people can immediately get to that information, and they're not just tearing off that little tab, putting it into their pocket and forgetting about it. Yeah, see, Nicole, I like that. Nicole says, I was thinking of putting a flyer at my community pool. I think that's great. If they have an area where you can do that, that moms are taking their kids to the pool. Moms and dads are taking their kids to the pool, and they're going to see that, right? And the kids are going to see it. So that's fantastic. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here and do our rapid recap. If you have any takeaways that you would like to share. Now is the time to do it. Let us know what was the most valuable thing for you today. As I go through this rapid recap, I will brief through the 5 things that we talked about today, and then we're going to end the show. All right, so here we go. I forgot what I was going to say, so that just came out weird. Yes, like Linda, people will also take a picture of your web address. I do that all the time, right? When I find a flyer, I'm like, I actually don't want to take this flyer, but I will take a picture of it. Okay, let's get to the rapid recap. Give me 1 second here while we get this up. Yay, Pete says, yes, doing it. Thanks for the reminder. The girls are in swim class. Makes total sense, right? Okay, here we go. From the top, here's our rapid recap. If you've ever felt exhausted from the pressure of social media marketing, then this broadcast recap is for you. There are so many different ways that we can market our studios, and it doesn't have to all be based online through Google and websites and searches and social media. So let's take a look at 5 super effective marketing channels that are sometimes considered old school, but really they work. So the first thing that we're looking at is marketing through partnerships and collaborations with businesses and schools. And I know this can take a little bit of fancy footwork at the beginning to really build out that network and to create those working relationships with businesses and with schools and music directors, but it's 100% worth it. So make that part of your quarterly marketing plan, thinking about where can I reach out? What kind of creative collaborations can I do in order to bring more visibility and establish your reputation in the local area? The second marketing channel is referral programs. Now, we know as music teachers, referrals are gold, and you can encourage those referrals in a couple of different ways. One, you could have some type of an incentive program in place to let people know that when they refer people to your studio, maybe they get a discount on the following month. If one of the students signs up, maybe they get a gift card from Starbucks, or they just get a beautiful thank you note. And don't forget that with those referral programs, one of the most important aspects is to actually ask for the referrals. Don't just wait for them to happen. Reach out to people that are in your studio and let them know that you have room. The third channel is local media outreaches. And this is going to feel really old school, but I want you to think about the local media that's in your area. Newspapers, radio stations, magazines, even local TV stations. Think about what are some creative things that I'm doing in my studio, or maybe like these amazing community events that you might be running that you might be able to feature in local media, and make those outreaches to those channels to let them know that things are happening. And, I know it can feel really like weird and old school to think about getting an article written in a newspaper or a magazine, but I can guarantee you those things are still being used, especially by grandparents. And we know that grandparents are always looking for good things for their grandkids. All right, the fourth item here is to leverage your alumni network. Make sure that you are using your existing clients and your alumni student clients and ask for their success stories. Have a place on your website where you can feature those success stories, and maybe that they could also record a video for you. That would be super awesome. Getting them to engage and asking for them to share their experience and their achievements is a beautiful way to encourage that referral marketing. All right, final item here. We're going way old school, right? I used to post flyers in my local Dairy Queen, and people saw them all the time. Think about flyers and posters in strategic locations. There might be community boards where potential students and parents might see them. This could be things like coffee shops, grocery stores, libraries, schools, or community centers. Look for those places where they have available space for you to post a poster, right? Just getting that visibility out there. So I hope that you have found these 5 things, these 5 marketing channels useful. If you'd like to watch the full broadcast of this, let me know down below and we will get that to you. And if you drop the word marketing, we'll be sure to send the Savvy Sarah bot out to you and give you access to the show notes from today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I am excited to continue supporting you here at Savvy Music Studio every week. And until next time, stay savvy and stay you, because you are an amazing teacher and there's no one in the world quite like you. And I think you are pretty dang awesome. I almost forgot. Hey, if you want to savvy up your marketing plans, I hope that this gave you some information today that would let you know it's not just about social media. And I'm not going to pressure you to use tons of Facebook posts and tons of Instagram posts. So if you really want to get savvy with your marketing this summer and put together a comprehensive marketing plan that's actually going to work, reach out to me. That's something that I do. All right, we'll see you guys next time.